Welcome to another episode of Goin With the Flow. I'm your host, Lucas Cellino, and today we're joined with Adam Bush. Adam, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me come. I'm excited.
So Adam, you're in a new position that we recently created. Why don't you kind of just give us a brief on currently what you're doing at Cellino?
Sure, yeah. So I just became the first purchasing and inventory manager at Cellino, which is super exciting. I know it's a position we've kind of tussled about needing for a few years, and finally just kind of the opportunity came and we kind of got into it, which is great. So yeah, just doing orders for technicians to make sure that they're getting what they need timely and accurately, and also maintaining warehouse and, you know, getting the guys ready with bin audits and getting their truck stocked and just kind of handling everything inventory related, which has been a lot of fun. So
I get it a lot. Man, plumbers charge a lot of money, but people just don't get the overhead and what it takes to run an operation. Why does a small plumbing, heating, cooling company, and electric, why do they need a purchasing and inventory manager? Why do we create this role?
Sure. So, I mean, there are a lot of different parts and suppliers to navigate and do our best to not only get what we need, but get what we need at a right cost. So getting those things properly, how would I put it? Getting those things accurately and properly through the right supplier allows us to actually charge the customer hopefully a little bit less, or, you know, it's a more of an efficient cost to them because we're able to source it from the right place. So.
Certainly. Yeah, no, and the one thing that's real obvious is we just completely outgrown our warehouse, and there are, you know, on the trucks, I think plumbing service trucks, we have 2,000 different SKUs.
Sure.
You know, let alone then we have a different HVAC install setup, you know, truck stock, HVAC service, HVAC maintenance, you know, go all the way through it. There's 9 different, you know, truck stock setups that we got to maintain, let alone, you know, thousands of parts at our warehouse, which is, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars that we have.
Absolutely.
But it's not your first time playing a role like this. And in your past life, I believe down in Florida, was it?
In Florida, I worked at Dick's. I was at their location, I was the sales support manager, which was the warehouse and office manager, essentially. So yes, I definitely have a background, not just there, also at Wegmans. You know, as a department manager, the warehouse and wherever you're stocking things is also 100% your responsibility. So definitely have a little bit of background in it, which helps certainly to just kind of see a space and hopefully fill it properly with what we need and make it efficient. So yeah, definitely have some experience in the warehouse side for sure.
You came from a referral from another employee, which is usually where we get most of our workforce. Wegmans, there's a Wegmans tie there. And so when you came over to Cellino, about 4 years ago now, was it?
It'll be 5 years, December 7th. So
okay.
4.5 years.
The date down. Great.
Yeah. For a holiday.
So about 5 years ago, and you know, I don't even know what you started as. I know that you're quickly moved to HVAC install manager, and this is you know, when we just started HVAC, maybe a year prior.
Yep.
But why don't you talk about that transition? Why you came from, you know, more of that corporate world to Cellino Plumbing and maybe even back to Buffalo, and maybe just bring me through your first few years here.
Sure. Yeah. So moved to Florida when I was young. Figured I'm young, why not try Florida? Didn't love it. It happened right when the housing recession hit in 08, 09. So my position was actually cut from Dick's, which was fine. Decided to move home because that's where I wanted to be, and started working right at Wegmans late 2009. Worked there for 12 years in various roles. Started during the days and then did nights for 6 years, which was fun at times. And then transitioned into a dairy manager role, which really I think allowed me to kind of hone in on the warehouse side of things, just because a dairy department, everything's got to be refrigerated. You have a very limited amount of space because of the cost to refrigerate that much room. So definitely learned how to squeeze as much out of a space as I can due to that, which was great. And then when lovely COVID kind of came around, I felt I needed to do more, wanted to do more, and wanted to learn a trade. I just saw the potential and the need at the time. So made a call to Liam, who said, hey, join in as apprentice. We'll go from there and we'll see what happens. And it's exactly what I did. And almost 5 years later, it's certainly the best thing I've ever done. You guys have allowed me to grow tremendously, not just professionally, but personally. And, you know, the amount of DIY stuff I can do now is awesome, which is great. Transitioned from that into current role. And just, I think we all saw the need for it, and getting us all back at Bullis just, I think, presented even more and just kind of latched on, and here we are.
Yeah. So you've been in about 3 months now in the current role?
Yeah, I think 3 months would be a pretty accurate timeline. Yeah, time frame.
Yeah. So, and, we spend a lot at supply houses and different material.
We do.
Why don't just kind of go through like what it looks like on a daily basis for you? You come in, what time do you come in? What are the first things you're doing? And maybe just an idea of what that looks like.
It's kind of weird. Being HVAC install manager, my day started out very similar to the way it starts out now, just because those are the guys that are getting the equipment that I ordered and making sure they're getting to the jobs at a timely manner. So I do that. I kind of get those guys out. That's my first priority in the morning. And then I get restock going for all of the technicians that had restock from the day before. I send that to our supplier at the time. They take care of that. They ship it, hopefully at a timely manner as well. And then I process those, check them in, make sure they're accurate, and go through that. And then as a day-to-day process, as technicians need things on a job for, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical, any department, they reach out to me through Google Chat or through the phone, and I get that ordered either at which is our normal supplier, or whatever supply house I feel is going to help them the most or be the closest to them, so their time is well spent. We get deliveries daily with equipment that has to be sorted and then staged for the next day. So it's kind of a all over the place 7 to 4 day, which is great because I like to be active and moving around, but it presents a lot of fun challenges at times. Sometimes you'll sit there and you'll have no orders for 2 hours, and then you'll get 5, and you're like, oh, geez. So, just kind of navigating with the guys and communicating with them and making sure that they're my new customer. That's kind of the way I look at it. The technicians are all my new customer, so I want to make sure that I am respecting their time and their day.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you brought that. Like, so to me, there's really 2 different jobs at the company. Either you're turning wrenches or you're supporting the guys turning wrenches, sure. Guys and girls turning the wrenches. As a HVAC install manager, you're kind of in between.
Sure.
You're turning some wrenches. You're certainly going on calls, but you're more or less focused on supporting the installers.
Yep.
Now you're at that full support level where it's, to me, the position only exists if there's efficiencies be created, makes it easier on them. Helps customers out with warranties or some sort of support that we got to deliver. So it's been great. We've had this discussion many a times. Yeah. We've spent a lot of time before creating this job of just planning it out, looking, what can be unforeseen that we can kind of plan for. And about a week in, I'm like, Adam, what are the biggest issues? Like, I wasn't hearing anything, and everyone kept telling me it's going great. I'm like, this never happens. Right. We never create a brand new position with new workflows and have almost no issues. So for sure,
yeah, it was very great to see. I mean, all the technicians, I think, really latched onto it right away. I think I became kind of an advocate to them through themselves and the supply house. It saves them some time. They don't got to sit there on the phone and describe a part. I can kind of take that off their plate and let them focus on what they got to focus on, which I think has become the biggest plus for them. Especially like you brought up warranty parts. It's a lot easier for me to track that down while I'm, at a computer. I can make a couple phone calls, then have a technician who's trying to get to the next call, or, trying to maybe get to another extra call for the day. If I can take that off their plate, to me, that's huge. And I know, talking to the HVAC guys that do quite a bit of warranty parts, it's been a big plus for them.
Certainly. Where do you see this role growing, or where do you see, expanding? Or
yeah, I think as I've progressed through the role in its early stages, I really want to view myself as a big support structure, not just for the technicians, but for the office, for anybody. There's rebates and all these things coming out like crazy. I foresee certain parts of that maybe could fall on my lap. NYSERDA rebates are a huge thing right now. I think that could be something that we could navigate through as well. And I just think as we grow, the need for the efficiencies is just going to continue to grow with it. The 5 years I've been here, the growth has been incredible, and it's super cool to be a part of, for sure.
Yeah, no, I say just about every other year, it's almost like a whole new company.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's very different. Now we do electrical, and that's, a learning curve there.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I've learned that the ordering does not work at all like plumbing or HVAC.
Not even remotely. It's not even close. Which is understandable. It's, there's so many different electrical SKUs. I don't know how you would ever properly stock an electrical van.
So you've worked at Wegmans, which is, one of the best places to work almost every year. We're lucky enough to get that award as well.
Absolutely.
What are some similarities you see between us and Wegmans, and maybe some differences?
So Wegmans, again, awesome company. Loved working there. It has gotten very large, which is great for them. Their growth has been exponential as well. I think as you grow that large, you're going to lose some of that family touch, that, camaraderie touch. And it started to fade a little bit. And that was some of the reason I, kind of decided to kind of get out and do something different. I haven't felt with our growth, I think we've gotten more tight knit. I think we've all really looked at each other and leaned on each other, and to me, it's one big family there. Every day I'm there, I feel like this is the place I want to be.
Yeah, we certainly got a culture, and I say we don't really sell anything. Certainly, we got equipment that we work with and sell, but ultimately, you're paying for the service and the people that do it. And
absolutely,
that's always been our focus. Let's get the best people, create a culture that retains them, that promotes them, and part of that is we need growth to keep these guys.
Sure.
We got to keep growing, and I've always said I want to keep growing as long as we're getting better while we grow.
Absolutely.
So and I agree. I think we've somehow become more tight as we've grown.
Yeah. Yep.
And it does become every now and then I walk in the warehouse, I'm like, who is that now exactly? So that's happening a little more and more now.
Yes,
but
for sure.
that quickly goes away, and I'll open up a conversation and
one thing that blows me away is the apprentices we have. We just had a good chunk of apprentices come through, and every one of them are just good people. People that I would say, go to my parents' house and fix their toilet, or go to my grandma's house and take a look at her boiler. I would send anybody in our company to any family member's house that we have.
And one thing that's really important to me is I want to go to work. Like I want to go to work. So walking in and having people that are happy there. Our CSS team's awesome. They're usually the first ones I see, and always cheerful, and great management team. But even the guys coming in, I see some other companies. Talk to them like, man, they just sound miserable. I would not want to be around that all day.
No,
it'd bring me down. So we're certainly lucky in that aspect.
Yeah, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's all luck though. I think we and you guys do a great job of seeking that talent out and making those tough decisions sometimes. Maybe that guy just doesn't, or that girl doesn't seem like they're a perfect fit for our culture. And I think you guys make the right decision to say, well, let's pass. I think a lot of companies are just like, bring them in. We need people. Doesn't always work that way. I think standing true to the culture, I think, is very important.
Bad hire could do more detriment than filling some jobs.
100%. The quote you had with Dan is, if we train people right and they leave, but we train people wrong and they don't.
Or if we don't train people,
I thought that was a great quote. I think it made a ton of sense. That person that we didn't train right, hopefully we can get to them and train them right, but sometimes you just got to make that determination.
I guess you really do listen to all these podcasts.
I told you, I think they're fantastic. I like every one of them.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And then there's, Suzanne does a lot of our hiring, and she is so good at it. She's CSS. She's looking to retire.
Yep.
Like, what can I do to keep Suzanne around? Right. She's just so good. And so she's on it. She'll give me pushback. I'm like, Suzanne, I really think we should try. No, not the right fit. And I love that. I like the pushback, and
absolutely.
She knows what we're looking for, and along with the whole team of what's a good fit. So
when I was install manager, sitting in on interviews with her, she was, I would focus on the technical side a little bit more than obviously she would, and she would just hone in on that. Is this person are they gonna fit? And if they're not, she's gonna let you know. And I think that's important. I think a lot of times when your back's against the wall, you need help. You're just gonna hire to hire, and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't usually go well. So I think standing true to that, maybe, suffering a little bit because you are a little light on help. Sometimes it's not great, but sometimes it's needed to make the right choice.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Yeah, no, you can, especially with, service techs going to people's houses, like we're just really, really careful about that. We certainly do the background checks and everything else, but you want to make sure it's someone that's ethical too, going to a home and making sure that they're given the proper options. And like you said, everyone there you could trust going to a relative's house. Yep. That's very important for us.
I've had friends or family reach out like, hey, I have a plumbing thing I need looked at. Like, oh, do you recommend somebody at the company? I was like, just call the office and book it. There's not one person there that I wouldn't send to your house. So absolutely just call the office and have them come to your house.
Certainly. Including my former gym teacher and your neighbor.
Yeah. Mr. Manziel. Yes, for sure.
So Adam, again, I appreciate you coming here. Is there anything that you want to hit on? Anything that I didn't cover?
No, I think we covered a good chunk.
Well, thanks again, Adam, and Team Cellino is lucky to have you, as am I, and look forward to continuing building up this inventory and purchasing management position.
Yeah, thank you, and I can't thank you guys enough for the opportunities you guys have given me, for sure.